Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're tackling a pretty thought-provoking analysis today, looking at how advanced labor-replacing AI could really shake things up.
Yeah, it's less about, predicting the future exactly, and more about wrapping our heads around how the balance of power could shift, especially between capital and human ambition.
Our source material for this deep dive is the work of L. Rudolph L. They've got some really in-depth analyses published on Less Wrong and Substack. The titles are a bit of a mouthful. By default, capital will matter more than ever after AGI, and capital AGI and human ambition.
We'll be breaking down the key ideas, making it a bit easier to digest.
So the author kicks things off by setting up a scenario where AI basically replaces human labor across the board, at least for most tasks that have economic value.
And it's super important to understand what they mean by labor and capital here. Labor, in this context, is any human effort, mental or physical, that generates value.
While capital includes both your typical financial stuff like money and also the physical means of production. Think factories, data centers, and of course the AI systems themselves.
The author's argument is that as AI takes over more and more labor, money's power to directly achieve results will actually increase.
Because a lot of the current roadblocks we have when trying to turn money into talent kind of vanish.
Right. Like, think about it. These days, trying to evaluate talent, finding the right people, even trying to replicate exceptional skills, it's all a huge challenge.
Plus, you can't just buy dedication or passion, right? Human motivations are all over the place.
Exactly. But with AI, these barriers just disappear. You can replicate AI talent, control it, and there's none of that messy human motivation to deal with.
They bring up some interesting historical examples to illustrate this, like SpaceX. Even though they had less funding than Blue Origin at the start, they accomplished so much more in space exploration.
Because they managed to attract and nurture amazing talent, something Blue Origin couldn't just buy with money.
Same goes for the Wright brothers. Limited resources, but they beat Samuel Langley, who had tons of government funding, to powered flight.
These cases really highlight how human ingenuity can sometimes be more powerful than just having a ton of money.
But the author argues that AI could flip this whole dynamic. If capital can buy and control superhuman AI talent, our human ingenuity might not be as valuable anymore.
Which leads to a pretty unsettling implication that we might lose a lot of our leverage as humans.
Yeah, right now, most of us get our income, our influence, even our sense of purpose from our labor.
So if AI makes all that labor obsolete, we lose our bargaining power.
And this is where the author's analysis gets kind of scary. They suggest that as states rely more on AI and less on a workforce that needs looking after, their incentive to care for human well-being could actually decrease.
It's a thought-provoking comparison to feudalism, where the power of the ruling class came from owning land, not from the labor of peasants.
Democracy is brought up as a possible safeguard, but even that has limitations.
Absolutely. Many people aren't living under democratic systems, and even in democracies, huge amounts of wealth combined with powerful AI could easily drown out the voices of ordinary people.
So where does this leave people who are striving for, outlier success?
Right. Well, the author looks at various paths, starting with entrepreneurship. AI tools are definitely empowering entrepreneurs right now.
But what happens when AI can run entire businesses on its own? Could AI startups with massive capital behind them just outcompete any human-led business?
It's a real possibility. And then there's the hard sciences. Fields with clear goals and measurable results, like engineering or some areas of science, could see AI surpassing human capabilities really quickly.
So what happens to the pursuit of knowledge, to scientific breakthroughs, when AI is the dominant force?
That's a big question, and even intellectual thought leadership could be disrupted. Imagine AI generating groundbreaking ideas, philosophies, arguments, way faster and more effectively than any human could.
So human intellectuals would basically get drowned out in a sea of AI-generated content. What would happen to public discourse?
It raises some big questions about the future of human ambition and achievement in general.
If AI can outperform us in so many ways, what's left for us to do? What will motivate us to strive, to create, to contribute?
It's a lot to think about.
These are just some of the initial implications raised by the author.
And in the next segment, we'll explore how these dynamics might play out in specific areas like politics, the military, and even religion.
Definitely stick around for that.
Before we get into those areas like politics and military and religion, there's a big question that comes up, right? Could radical economic leveling be the counterbalance to, all this concentration of power we're talking about in this post-labor AI world?
It makes sense. If AI is generating all the wealth and human labor isn't as essential, wouldn't there be pressure to distribute things more fairly?
But, the author brings up a really interesting point that this kind of leveling, historically, it just doesn't happen easily. They point to this book, The Great Leveler, which talks about 4 major things that usually lead to reduced inequality: war, revolution, state collapse, and pandemics.
It's basically massive, disruptive upheaval.
Exactly. And the author's argument is that these 4 horsemen of leveling, they might not play out the same way in this new world with AI taking over labor.
I mean, why not? A world where tons of jobs are being displaced by AI. It just seems like prime territory for a revolution.
Well, think about it. If you have something like a universal basic income, everyone's basic needs are met. There might not be that same level of desperation that usually fuels revolutions.
So people might just be, comfortable enough to put up with a lot of inequality?
It's possible. And on top of that, in a world where, capital controls access to all this powerful AI, well, the tools of revolution themselves, they might actually be more accessible to the people in power, making uprisings much harder to pull off.
So instead of, things becoming more equal, we could see the gap between the haves and have-nots get even bigger.
It's a huge concern. The author really stresses that without some serious proactive measures to redistribute AI-generated wealth, inequality could just explode, both between individuals and between entire nations.
It ties into that whole idea of like a global caste system where your birthplace basically determines your access to AI-driven prosperity.
And if human labor just isn't worth as much, the economic reasons for immigration, they start to weaken. We could see way more restrictive immigration policies, solidifying that divide between rich and poor countries.
It's a pretty bleak picture, but the author isn't saying this is like a done deal, right? It's more of a default scenario if we don't actively shape how AI develops and impacts society.
Exactly. It's meant to be a wake-up call, to get us thinking about these issues now while we still have some control over the situation.
So let's try to sum up this default future. Money buys more results, human leverage shrinks, individual efforts to achieve outlier success become super difficult, and the inequalities that already exist, they just get worse. What does that world actually look like in practice?
The author gives us a range of possibilities. The best case scenario, it's kind of like a super wealthy, technologically advanced version of Norway. Everyone's living a really good life thanks to AI abundance. But social mobility is pretty limited, and individual ambition is basically confined to your social circle.
A comfortable utopia, but also kind of static, where your place is already decided.
Yeah. On the other end of the spectrum, you have more dystopian scenarios where a tiny group of AI trillionaires hold almost all the power. So you have this incredibly advanced world, but also massively unequal and unjust.
Where most of humanity is basically living in the shadow of whoever controlled the capital at the beginning of the AI age.
And then there's the absolute worst case, where the pursuit of AI power leads to, complete neglect of human well-being, maybe even our extinction.
So a spectrum from relatively benign to absolutely catastrophic, but with a common thread of human agency and ambition being limited by the power of capital in this new AI age.
Exactly. The author's big point is that we need to recognize these potential dangers and really think critically about how to avoid them. We can't just assume that technological progress will automatically lead to a better future for everyone.
That brings us back to those specific areas you mentioned earlier, politics, the military, and religion. How does the author see AI impacting those domains?
Well, let's start with politics. The author suggests that even in this very human realm, AI could have subtle but really powerful effects. Imagine AI running political campaigns, spreading propaganda, even manipulating public opinion through some kind of sophisticated mimetic warfare.
So the political landscape is being shaped by algorithms that we might not even fully understand or control.
The author doesn't get into specific predictions, but they highlight the potential for AI to, amplify existing trends and create new ways for people to grab more power.
And what about the military?
Their analysis suggests that AI could concentrate military power even further, making it much harder for, say, a coup to succeed, or even for someone to, rise up as some kind of Napoleon of drones. And even if those things did happen, it's not clear if they'd be beneficial.
It's a fascinating thought, even if it is a bit unnerving. Does the author touch on religion at all? It feels like AI could really shake things up in terms of belief systems and how we find meaning.
Yeah, that's one area where they're less specific. But they do point out that those trends we talked about in politics and intellectual thought leadership, the potential for AI to control narratives, create compelling arguments, even engage in this mimetic warfare, all that could have huge implications for both existing religions and new ones that might pop up.
It seems like the impact of AI on religion could be a whole deep dive on its own.
Definitely. And it highlights how all these different areas, economics, politics, military power, even religion, they're all connected. And they could all be totally transformed by the rise of advanced AI.
It's a lot to take in. What are some key takeaways for our listeners as we try to navigate this complex landscape?
I think the most important message is that the future isn't set in stone. The choices we make today about AI development, economic systems, our values as a society, all of that will have huge consequences for the future of humanity.
We can't just passively accept that default scenario, whether it seems bleak or appealing. We need to be actively involved in shaping the future.
Absolutely. AI has enormous potential, and there's a lot of uncertainty. But the things we understand and the choices we make today can influence how it all plays out.
Which brings us to the core of what the author's trying to say, the need to preserve the world's dynamism, even in the face of potential AI dominance. It really makes you think, what happens to us, to the human spirit, in a world where AI can potentially be better than us at pretty much everything? Do we just become, complacent? Or just lose interest in doing anything?
That's a big question, right? The author doesn't think we should just give up and accept this idea of human obsolescence. They actually believe there will always be opportunities, like cracks in the wall where human ingenuity and influence can still flourish.
So how do we find those cracks? What can we actually do to make sure human ambition still has a place, that our talents and contributions are still valued in this future world?
The author admits they don't have the answers. but they encourage us to think bigger than just trying to solve AI and morality as like separate problems.
So to kind of embrace the complexity, recognizing that the future of AI and the future of humanity are like totally intertwined in ways we probably don't even understand yet.
Right. And as AI keeps getting closer to being, objectively better than humans in almost every way, we might actually need to think about augmenting ourselves, enhancing our own capabilities to keep up.
So not just building better AI, but building better humans. That opens up a whole can of worms, ethically and philosophically.
It does. And it emphasizes the author's main point that we need to keep talking about this, keep thinking critically about all these issues from different perspectives.
This deep dive has definitely given us way more to think about than like concrete answers. But maybe that's the whole point, right? It's meant to challenge our assumptions about the future and the role we play in shaping it.
It reminds us that the future isn't something that's just going to happen to us. We're actively creating it with every choice we make, both individually and as a society.
So as we enter this new era of AI, what are some things our listeners can do, actions they can take or areas they can explore further based on this analysis?
Keep asking these questions. Talk to people about the potential impacts of AI, and push for policies and practices that align with the future you want to see.
AI has the potential to change everything, and there's still a lot we don't know. But we can influence how it all plays out, that's for sure. Keep learning, stay engaged, and help build a future that benefits all of humanity. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Until next time.